Hello everybody, welcome to PlayStation Access. My name is Ash and I'm joined by Rosie.
Hello everyone!
And today we are very excited to talk to you all about Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which is the latest Prince of Persia game coming from Ubisoft that we were very fortunate to go and see in Montpellier itself, and it looks so good, does it not, Rosie?
Yeah, like playing it, it just felt brilliant to play. I genuinely didn't want to put it down, had a blast playing it, and it looked fantastic. So.
Yeah, we had a great time. So we're going to tell you all about the game and our experiences with it in this here video, and basically why it is the perfect kind of entry point for if you're a new fan or an old fan, with the perfect blend of nostalgia and new. So this is very much inspired by the original 1989 Prince of Persia game, which was on Apple II computers, I think.
Oh, man.
Before PlayStation was born. In the original one, you've got like an hour to get through loads of different like dungeony bits and go and save the princess.
Oh, okay.
And then like the end is like, and you become the Prince of Persia. And this version, The Lost Crown, draws inspiration from that 2D side-scrolling kind of vibe, but pulls you out to 2.5D instead.
Yes.
So that kind of like these lovely rounded 3D characters, very like immersive screens with depth. And then when you get cinematics, it pulls out completely and you get fully 3D cinematics, which is really cool.
It is really cool.
It does make it very much a way of pulling you into the story, and into Sargon's story in particular, who is our main character. Now, Sargon is part of a group called the Immortals.
The Immortals.
Ooh, which sounds very badass, doesn't it? This kind of group of fighters and powerful beings that have supernatural abilities, and they are hired to go and sort out a missing prince, basically, because he's been taken. They have to go to Mount Kaz, and which is the heart of Persia, and find out where he's gone. And in Mount Kaz, the whole place has been cursed and kind of overrun with time strangeness, so it's all out of sync. So some stuff's in the past, some stuff's in the future, and you have to kind of work your way through.
The amount of platforming challenges when you can hit them and then just see things just sort of change and evolve. Story-wise, you look and say, I'm fixing time. Me, I'm looking at it thinking, platforming, here we go, more platforming times.
Yeah, for sure. There's like a really nice bit where you hit like a little time purpley thing and a statue gets rebuilt, and then you climb up it on all the different platforms, and you've got to go back up it and do like a wall bounce to go the other way because you've rebuilt the top as well. It's just really satisfying.
It is so
to do.
satisfying.
On the point of platforming, just to dive into that a little bit more, because that is a big part of the Prince of Persia franchise, and very much a big part of this game as well. This is a Metroidvania at its heart, so you're going through, you're finding bits, you're upgrading your character permanently, but trying to survive, and you're going to get killed a lot and go back and go through again and find things you can't unlock and get abilities that you're going to go back with.
Yes.
So in our build, this is an early build of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, I should say. So some things have been changed, places have been blocked off from us, for example. It's like a demo build. This isn't quite a finished product yet, but it is what we got our hands on with. And there's also fast travel as well, which I just like as an addition.
Yeah, we did get an example of unlocking the fast travel, and when we saw that, we were both just like, this is great.
We were like, thank goodness, because it's massive. The map is so big. We didn't get to see the intricacies of the map, but we got to see kind of like a vision of it on the wall, and kind of like the edge, basically, just how much it spans. And it's huge.
It is really, really big. It was just such a joy to explore.
Yeah.
And it just feels good as well when you're playing a Metroidvania to put your markers down, put your plans, everything's got its system in your mind, what the symbols mean on the little badges and things.
And this one had lots of little lovely choices.
Yeah, lots of lovely choices.
And there's loads of kind of branching places you can go through, but not so much as you feel like you're going to get lost. Like the areas are very defined. It's just a very good Metroidvania. You know what I mean? All the stuff, if you like it with Metroidvania, they've taken notice of it and put it into this game and made it the best it can be, it feels like. And the platforming is definitely a big part of that, from getting through with kind of disappearing ledges.
The spike pits are great in the sense of, well, not great, but they really do add an additional challenge. You really have to time you jumping from wall to wall, but also the position where you start the jump, because they can be really close together, those spikes. You have to be super precise. It's a situation where at first they may look intimidating, but when you nail it first time, nails, spikes. Yay! But when you nail it, it feels so satisfying and good. And also, as you are exploring, there is a couple of moments where, you know, if you're a bit confident and you just think, I'm going to jump down here, spikes could be waiting for you. Yes. So again, it's just the game saying, you should have really probably have wall glided or wall slid down there so you can time it, slow yourself down, and then jumped over. So it's filled with loads of fun little just tricks and turns for you to just keep the environment all spicy, still and challenging, as well as, you know, if you just get a bit too confident, it's like, no, slow down, buddy. But I also love the part as well, we played a section where there were these platforms. You had to really time it. If you stood in a specific location, a pillar would try and crush you, essentially. There's spikes on the walls, and you've got to consider the pillars, and by the time you've just got your breath and your thoughts together, little do you know you're standing just naturally on where a pillar's going to fall down. It's completely immersive in the sense of you just get the rhythm, you get the momentum of your character.
And shooting bells to make platforms appear as well.
They were brilliant. At first you think, oh yes, I've seen this before, but they're so intense. You really have to think creatively about how you're going to approach things, time your shooting of the arrows or time you're just attacking with your blades. It's really precise about how you use it. For those who like platformers and also those who just fancy a bit of a challenge, it feels so good when you do nail it. Again, it's just so satisfying when you think, yes, I've done it, I've timed everything. And if you do mess up, you've also got the rewind sort of going back in time mechanics. So if I ever saw a platforming challenge, I placed my like present state there. So if I made a mistake, I can just simply go back in time to get back to that position and then try it again. It was a lot better to do that than just fall all the way down and think, oh, I've got to climb again. All the way up.
Oh, I love that mechanic. So moving on to kind of the abilities, this is one of the abilities that was unlocked for us to try for this build. And it's very much inspired by Prince of Persia Sands of Time. We love Prince of Persia Sands of Time. I say we, I mean me, yes. And it's got that kind of whole vibe of being able to manipulate time. Obviously, that's the kind of the vibe of that, talking about the synchronization of getting things from the past and the present coalesced when you're doing the platforming also ties in to your abilities you can use with your swords. So there's one called teleport, where you can make a version of yourself, as Rosie described. You basically make a little snapshot of a spectral vision of yourself. You can go and do whatever you like, and then when you press L1, you're snapped back to where you were before, and it does this lovely like rewind in time sound.
Yeah,
like,
the music, it's all like disoriented as well. It's very nice.
It's really satisfying. You can start an action, say you want to chop, or you're shooting an arrow, or you're jumping, and then you can go and do something, press it, get sucked back and carry on. So you can really batter enemies with it. You can really do really tricksy platforming maneuvers where you'll have your guy firing an arrow as you're going and doing something else, because there's for a split second there's two of you sort of thing. It's really, really clever, and just a small like vision of the abilities that we got to see as well. I really like teleport. That kind of brings us round to combat, especially, which I thought was just, again, satisfying, like really good to just dive into all these beasties. And there is a whole range of creatures inspired by kind of folklore and different, I was going to say bestiology then. Bestiology. But like folklore and like urban legends and that kind of thing. They're all pulled from these lovely sources and then brought to life. So we were fighting this gorgeous, like a lion, griffin, regal.
With the scorpion tail.
Yeah. So attacking, you have your swords.
Yep.
You have your bow and arrow.
Yes.
And then you can upgrade things and unlock things for those as you continue. But those are your weapons for the game, and those are what you're going to be sticking with. Were you a sword or a more bow and arrow person?
In terms of for the boss fights, I was mainly a sword and a parry, because parrying is so important. I was just going to say, it's not as if the combat's just, you know, just arrow and keep on slashing. You really do need to time your parries. You know, if you see an enemy get yellow glowing eyes, then make sure that you can parry that attack. Otherwise, you're going to be in for a bad time. My arrows were for like panic situations, or you know, if there's an annoying goon at the top who's like throwing things down, then I was like, right, okay, let's just get you down, sort you out so I can carry on platforming.
Come on, goon, get down here. Yes, I love the enemies in this. I'm going to just keep playing it. They're really good. They're really good. And there was loads of different beasties, and they were kind of undead, and there was these mad guys in the library going, whoa, which,
there was the stalker sort of character as well, who was hunting you down. That was really like intense and really cool as well. You had
to like avoid his area of vision, which we can't show you because this was from kind of a separate section to what we were capturing. But it was very good, and you'll be able to see it for yourself.
Very intense if he heard you and then starts chasing you.
Yeah, and then he comes all over the map, like jumping around different areas and coming after you. Oh, scary. Scary. Very scary. I was all swords. I was all like slash and then dive in and jumping over things, because you've got like this little wall run ability and you can slide against stuff and dodge things. It's really, really frenetic and dynamic, the combat. Like Rosie said, it's not just chop and go. It's like there's all different ways you can approach it and different ways that kind of help bring it all together. And that is all amplified by the amulet system, which is, again, a kind of like a familiar Metroidvania vibe, but done in an original way for the Lost Crown, where you've got a necklace you're wearing and you can put whatever amulets you want on it that give you different powers.
There's only so many amulet slots you can equip. Let's say you've got 6 slots you can equip. Each amulet will take up a certain amount of slots, so it's not as if you can, just pick your favorites, because your favorite might be 4 and then there might be one that takes up 3, so you have to pick one or the other. I think at first I went for the just adding an additional hit to my combo and then shooting with the 3 arrows rather than when you just shoot the 1 arrow.
I had the extra combo one for a bit where you can just add a little extra nick on, but the triple arrower is just a really cool like addition that, like, again, it's one of the more powerful charms, so it takes up 4 of the 6 slots that we had. You get 3 arrows across the screen, so it's good for if you're not as precise with your platform shooting, or if there's a few enemies on screen, or if there's one in the air and that sort of thing. And that was only a taste of what amulets were around. That was a really good addition. Perhaps my favourite point, and I would probably assume yours as well, Rosie, because it was really good, was kind of the cinematic art style.
Yes.
Yeah? So when you do a really good parry, when you use a special attack, just when it feels like it, maybe, I don't know. But basically when you parry and do special attacks, it gives you a really beautiful moment where the art designers have just been allowed to go crazy and create these anime-inspired, superhero-esque cutscenes that happen in the middle, where Sargon gets super charged up, the screen goes like purple or blue, there's these big flashes of colour.
You see like the typical comic or anime like rip almost through the screen, as if to say like, oh, there's like 2 sections so you can see your enemy's eyes whilst the background's still what you've just witnessed.
Yeah.
It's really cool, and it was really interesting as well talking to the team. Like, and you can see walking around, they had so much like anime references, also like the effects team, not only for the cinematics and stuff, but also for rewinding time. They've got their own effects, and we saw a page where one of them just had these weird illusionary rainbow visuals. They've really grabbed so many influences and inspirations and just like beautifully put it in this mixture and made a grand cake out of it.
Yeah, like the whole inspiration from folklore and urban legends, I think, is another nice point to draw that back to, because this is very much like an interpretation of Persia at that time, like of this kind of fantastical, grand sort of interpretation of this time period, where they've taken loads of different bits of imagery, photos, kind of artistic interpretations, things from that time period. They were showing you statues that they had pictures of and how they had basically iterated those into the game in the background, and you could see how it was literally like almost one-to-one, which I thought was just amazing. Like I love when games have that proper if you know you know moment with the background stuff and the influences, and for it to be so true to its source material, I just think is really nice, and that they wanted to kind of keep that in there. Though saying that, the audio guys did tell us that the water sounds were just from a fountain in Montpellier.
Yeah, they were like, here's our little Montpellier, yes, this was made in Montpellier.
Yeah. The people there all really love this game and really love the work they're doing and told us loads about it, and I think that it shows in the creation of it as well.
Definitely.
So we had a great time looking at it, and we had a great time playing it as well. Super satisfying, super Moorish. Like I can totally just want to jump back in and fight some more bosses.
Oh yeah, I already want to explore and put my badges down. I'm very excited to jump back into it at some point.
And there's so many biomes to check out as well, because they only showed us a couple in this one of like beautiful like dusty, sandy, castle-y areas, and then there was like a dark forest. There was the inside of a mad library, but that was just a tiny little taste of what is in the game. So on that note, I'm going to finish it there, and we can all dream and wish and hope to be able to play it very soon, because it looks amazing. And again, we had a great time, so I can't wait to hear what you guys think of it when you can get your hands on it. But for now, tell us what you think of what we've shown you in this lovely little preview video. I hope you're excited for The Lost Crown as well. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that fun stuff to hear more from us from the world of PlayStation, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye. Bye.
テーション